So a lot of people don't understand fees add up, and they add up and they compound. So I'm going to go over how do fees compound and how do they rob you of basically half of your retirement. So I'll give you an example of 0%, 0.1%, which is usually in like low cost ETFs, mutual funds, versus a 1 or 2% actively managed fund. How much you actually lose over the course of your life in terms of investing. Let's say you invested 10,000 and someone else invested 10,000. This person chooses to go with a low-cost ETF or mutual fund. This person goes with an actively traded fund. This actively traded fund, generally, there'll be 1 to 2% in fees. If you had 7% and you subtracted these away, that's what we're going off of. That's how we get these numbers. So if we invest and we're drawing down at 40 years, let's look what's the difference. So a low-cost ETF or mutual fund, that person would have $144,000 if they basically gained 7 minus 0.1%, which is 6.9%. That's not too bad. Now, how badly does 1% or 2% eat into your earnings? So if you took 1% away, instead of having 144,000, you'd have 103,000. If you had 2%, that would come down to only 70,000. So that 1% ate away $41,000. That's pretty significant. That's almost a third. Over here, you're at 70,000. That ate away $74,000 roughly. That's more than half of the money in the account. So a 2% fee isn't making you rich. It's literally compounding, and that money is going to the hedge funds and things like that. If that person just would have invested in, say, the S&P 500, that effectively, SPY is 0.09%, VOO is like 0.03%, and there's some mutual funds, I'll put those here as well. But you can really reduce the cost, and that's going to have a huge effect compared to a actively traded fund, which is generally at 1 or 2%. The best part about this, actively traded funds fail to outperform the S&P 500 90% of the time over a 20-year period. Of course, in a down year, anywhere from 30 to 60% of an actively traded fund, they can actually outperform the S&P. But if you're looking to invest for retirement, you don't care about the 1 year that you're investing. You care about, 30, 40, 50 years into the future. So if you're losing out even 1 or 2%, it's very significant. And a lot of these, like I said, they fall behind the S&P 500 to start with. Once they take their fees, it's even worse. If you found this useful, please subscribe. I cover a lot of financial literacy topics, including how to invest, how to save money on taxes, as well as basically how do you make more money. And remember, prior performance does not guarantee future performance. All investments carry risk and can lose value.